Hello everybody and welcome back to Firefield Junction. As you know, I very recently did a review on the Bachmann class 221 Voyager, not 221, 220, sorry. And yeah, I basically very recently did a review on it, but in this video I'm going to be showing you how to DCC this particular unit. I'm going to be doing this video in two parts, and in this video, in part one, we're going to be focusing on DCCing the motor unit, which I have here. I thought it'd be easier to start off probably the more important unit of the two, and this will be the easiest to do out of the ends, which are just outshot over there. But first things first, we need to get the body off. So I'll get that done now, then I'll come back once I've got the body off. Okay, and there we are. The body's now off, and we can now see how she's wired up inside as a DC loco. So obviously we've got the circuit board in the middle here. Yes, we've got the circuit board in the middle in the centre, then we've got the motor underneath, then we've got the two flywheels which go into two drive shafts, and that drives all of the wheels in both bogies. And obviously one thing that you might be familiar with the Bachmann Voyager, I don't know if you are or not, basically you can see on the circuit board here, if I just hold it close to the camera for you, you can see here what looks like was an 8-pin socket, or looks like, or should be an 8-pin socket in a way. But as some people have described it, it's like Bachmann started to wire up this model for DCC, then gave up halfway through. So yeah, not the best design I reckon, but it's still going to make DCCing this unit pretty easy. As long as you have some basic skills, then it should be easy enough for you to do this. So there are sort of two ways you can wire up. You can hardwire models to DCC. Either you can take the chip. I've got an 8-pin Hornbeam chip here, and this is what I'm going to be fitting sort of temporarily to this model, because I will be fitting it with sound eventually. But temporarily, I'm going to fit it with a Hornbeam decoder. What you can do is, if you use a chip like this, is you just cut off the 8-pin plug section here. Then you just remove the circuit board and then basically wire in the corresponding wires directly to the chip that way. Or you can do what I'm doing, where you basically hardwire in an 8-pin DCC socket, and by doing that you basically make the model DCC ready, and then you can just plug the chip directly into the 8-pin socket. I find this is a best method, especially for models where you might be swapping out the chips a few times or fairly often. Obviously if you've got a model where it's literally just going to be, that's the chip that's going to be in it forever in a way, then you can obviously just do that way, just literally wire in the chip directly without using the 8-pin socket. But first thing we need to do is obviously remove the circuit board. So we just grab our Phillips screwdriver and we just unscrew the circuit board. The screws to one side. There we are. Then we can ease up the circuit board. Gently does it. And obviously underneath we've got all our wires. Now all we need to do is basically cut the wires as close to the circuit board as we can. And then I'll basically go away and do that, and then once the circuit board's out of the way, I'll explain how we'll wire in this 8-pin socket. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, and there we are. So that's where I've removed the circuit board, and actually I found instead of cutting the wires, I actually just desoldered them from the circuit board. But I reckon it'll make the job slightly easier, because it means I won't have to go through stripping the ends of the wires. By desoldering them, obviously the ends of the wires are already stripped and basically ready to be soldered. So I'm just going to try and untangle these wires to make the job a bit easier if we untangle them. I don't know why Bachmann tangled them together, but I'm guessing it keeps them out of the way a bit better. Okay, that's those ones. And there we go, that's that one. There we go. that one looks like that one's already been done. Actually, still got some length to it there. Yeah, let's pull it through. Come on. And there we are. So now we've got we've now got 6 wires here. And basically, if we just put the circuit board to one side, well, we can actually just throw it that way. So if I just put that in the bin down there. So now, obviously we've got these 3 red wires here, and we've got 3 black wires here. So basically, we need to take the pickup wires. So we'll take so I'll do it with the red ones first. So these two here are our 2 red wire pickup wires, and basically these 2 red pickup wires will go to the red wire on the 8-pin socket, and then this other red wire here, which goes down to the motor, this red wire here will go to the orange wire on the 8-pin socket. And then with the 2 black pickup wires, which are these two black pickup wires will go to the black wire on the 8-pin socket, and then the black wire here, which goes to the motor, will go to the grey wire on the 8-pin socket. So what I'll do is I'll solder up all those connections, and I'll come back so you can see how I've done it, and hopefully it'll sum up what I've just explained. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so here we are. So you can see we've got the sockets here, and then we've also got all the different coloured wires taped out of the way. Obviously, the white, the yellow, the green, and the blue are for the for functions such as lights. So we didn't need them, so I just taped them out of the way straight away. And then once I've done all the connections, everything's been nicely taped out of the way here on top of the motor. So as you can see there on that side of the motor, we've got the grey wire, which is for the left-hand side of the motor. Then we've got both black pickup wires, and they've been soldered together to the black wire on the 8-pin sockets, but the connection is underneath all of this, so you can't actually see it. But I used heat shrink tubing. There's a piece of it there to insulate and strengthen the connections. I did have to put a bit of electrical tape over the connection for the black wires, because I couldn't actually get the heat shrink all the way over the connection. But yeah, it all went together quite nicely, and it's a nice strong connection, hopefully. So it should all work. And then if I just spin the chassis around, see they've got the red wire connections, and they go up, and the same with the black wire. Those red wire pickup connections connect to the red wire on the 8-pin socket, and again the connection for that is also underneath all of this, so you can't actually see it. And then we can see there we've got the orange wire from the 8-pin socket going down and going to the right hand side of the motor there. So now all that's left to do is take the DCC chips. We've got a Hornby 8-pin chip here, which I'll be using temporarily for this model, and just plug it into the socket. Then we'll test to see if it works. Okay, so there we are. I've plugged the chip into the 8-pin socket, and then using a double-sided sticky pad, I've just secured the chip on top of all of the wires here. So the chip's nicely fixed in place, so it shouldn't go anywhere. And I've got the chip's address selected, because this chip has been used in several logos before, but I've got its current address selected, because this chip used to be in my GWR class 158. So I've got the chip's address selected. So let's see if she works. Lovely. The other way. Brilliant. So she's all working nicely. I might put a bit of oil on all of the gears and everything to try and loosen them up a bit. And then what I'll probably do is then give the chassis a little run around the layout as it is, just to give it, just to help loosen it up and everything, get everything lubricated. And then I'll come back, and then what we'll do is we'll come back in part 2, and then we can work on doing one of the ends just here. And obviously the ends are a little bit more complicated to do because you have to do things like make cuts in the circuit board and everything. It's just, yeah, it's definitely more difficult, but hopefully I should be able. Well, I'm not saying I should be able to do it. I know how to do it. So I'll come back in part 2, and I'll show you how to DCC the ends. And obviously I only need to show you how to do one of the end units. But obviously, once you've done that, you can easily transfer onto the other one, or you can do both at the same time, or whatever you want to do. But anyway, thanks for watching part 1, and I'll see you guys in part 2. Bye.